Hey everybody, what's up? This is Chris from T3 Handicapping here with another video going through sort of how I develop my bets given a race. It is currently February 11th, and this one is going to be a little bit quicker than yesterday's. Yesterday I kind of went through the whole process and in deeper detail. So if you want to know sort of how I'm making some of these decisions, you can go back and watch the video from yesterday, 210 at Turf Paradise. And see sort of why I make some of the decisions that I make. But today I just want to kind of run through another race and see if we can find winners. We were close yesterday, just missed by a head on hitting a decent price exacta, missed the super. But those were the only two wagers that I played yesterday based off this. So again, the goal here is to help you to see how you can take your handicapping opinions and turn them into wagers. So you can see here today I'm looking at the 10th race, 6.5 furlongs on dirt at Parx for Tuesday, February the 11th. Race rating of 73. This is a claiming 75. Non-winners of 4 condition. And we've got a field of 8 horses signed on pre-scratch. So I already took the liberty of putting in my stack ranking here. I'm going to go through and make my eliminations. So when I move my stack rank down, I can go ahead and eliminate the horses that I want to eliminate. And so I'm looking from a pace perspective. I think this is going to be a pretty average pace. That doesn't bode well for the 8, who I think is going to be well out of it. Maybe even the 3 as well. I'm just kind of taking down these mental notes. Looking at our conditions here, our conditioners and connections, I see that the 3 is a 0-0 and also last in my stack rank. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the 3 from all contention. I also notice here that the 5 is a little bit light. But does have a top 3 class rating, in fact, a top 2 class rating, so I'm not going to fully eliminate that one. The 6 has 2 connections that are both below 10%, has a competitive speed figure in the top flow number, so I'm not quite willing to get rid of that one. Miss Alex, the number 8 horse, again, kind of that slow pace, a lot of lifetime starts. When I see that many lifetime starts, I generally like to see a better record than 12%. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just take that one out of contention. Now remember, when I eliminate horses, that's from all 4 places. So I'm going to just kind of stick with that for now. I'm on the fence. If I were going to make another elimination here, it would be this 6 horse. The only thing that makes me a little nervous about eliminating the 6 horse, and the reason I'm choosing to leave this one in, is that the horse is the only confirmed E-type. So with Parx Dirt in sprints playing a little bit more towards speed, there is a chance this one could get to the front, although I don't know how much I really believe in what the horse can do. So I'm going to move my new selections down here. I've got it down to 6, which is my minimum if I'm going to even think about kind of moving forward here. I don't like to have too many more unless I just have a clear standout in first. Now, as I'm looking here, I can see that the 4 comes out in my stack rank as the top rated horse. But as I look at the number 1, I actually prefer the 1 here. With the top speed and class rating. I mentioned yesterday that those are 2 categories, especially in dirt sprints, that I really value. So I'm going to flip the 1 and the 4 here into different spots. And then I've got the 2, Heart and Form, which I don't consider to be all that great in terms of categories. And the 7 is going to be a forwardly placed runner with an over-jocked connection. That to me is interesting. It also rates out well, so I'm going to actually move those 2 around. The number 5, kind of on class alone is in there. Connections are sort of hovering right around that sub 10% range. And the 6 we said we're kind of throwing in. So I'm on the fence about whether or not I would even want to move this 5 up potentially a little bit just because of that class rating. But when I look at the 2's class, the 2 has a 77 versus 79. That's not hugely significant, so I think I'm going to keep it from there. Now, just in going through a quick look at this, I can see that the delineation between my top 2 selections here is only 0.1 on the aggregate. I do think the 1 is definitely the favorite here and probably the standout in this, but I do think that the 4 is a likely second choice. The 1 and the 4 then will also move into the second position. taking a look here to see if there's any other horse. Well, it would have to be the 7 here that I covet in the second position. I do think from a tactical perspective that this horse could end up sort of in that spot, but it is really hard to get separation here between the 7 and the 2. I think I'll take the 7 just on a price uh, perspective and keep it that way. But I do think then that you would have to include the 2 here. Now, the other 2 horses that I have left are the 5 and the 6. The 5 is only on class. The 6, relatively good speed numbers, but I don't think that, the pace is all that likely to hold together. I would probably keep the 5 here and then go through and build this out. Now, I can already tell you that this is going to be too big of a ticket as I'm going through, so I might have to make some adjustments. So my win, I do think the 1 is my choice to win, even though I have 2 up here. I would definitely want to use the 4 in any of my verticals. But I'm definitely kind of leaning towards the 1 here. So right now, with 2 horses in that spot, I'm going to skip the win, but I'm leaning towards playing the 1 at probably. I don't feel like even money's fair to take on this. I think probably that 2-1 morning line is probably where I want to draw my line, maybe down to 3-2. But I don't know that I feel that much stronger than a 3-2 line. So if it's starting to get down to 6-5 or even money, that's probably going to be out for me. When I look at my exacta price or exacta plays here, I talked about this yesterday. I basically have 3 options. I've got 1-4 box, 1-4-7 box, or 1-4 with 1-4-7. Again, eliminating any combinations, as I mentioned yesterday, that fall below a threshold I'm willing to take. I would say, honestly, in this race, based on how I feel about these horses, I would probably not want to take less than, 12 to 15 again. That's kind of my standard number. So any combination paying less than $12 to $15 on 1 would be eliminated from contention. As I'm looking through this, I think I would be inclined here, given the prices that these horses are at on the morning line. I think I would probably be looking at a 1-4 with 1-4-7. Again, looking at that $12 minimum, but that's going to be a $4 wager there. The reason I chose to go that route is the real hope that I have here is I've got to get this 7 home. The other 2 are the top 2 choices, and the 1-2 on the morning line tends not to pay very much. So I think by going in the 1-4, 1-4-7, I think that most reflects my opinion. I try not to do just a straight box on the second place runners because I think if I'm truly concerned that the 7 can't win or won't win this race, then why am I putting him on top just for the purposes of inclusion? So something I'm going to think about there. In terms of a try, when I look at this, I've got 2 choices in first. I've got then essentially 2 choices in third because one of them will have to win, and then 2 choices come out, so then I have 3 choices in third, and that's a $12 on $1. That's okay, but the 2 is a short price. The 5 is a little bit of a price. I mean, I'll put it in for now, but I'm not in love with this. I think here I would actually probably just shrink it down and go 1, since I am leaning towards that horse, 1 with 4-7, with 4-7-2-5, with, oh wait, this exact, or a trifecta here. So now because I took that 1 out, now I really only have 2 horses in second, and then essentially 3 horses in third. So 2 by 3 is $6 for a $1. That's fine. That's probably the most appropriate reflection of my opinion, because I really do think the 1 is the better option of the 2. And then from a superfecta perspective, I can take a look at just my overall opinion. So 2 times the 2 options, and then times, what do we say, the 3 options there, and then you'd have 3 out, so you'd have another 3 options. So we're talking about $3.60 to just fully reflect. And by the way, 360, if you're not familiar, the 10-cent super. So I can reduce that down to 360 because there are 36 combinations at 10 cents each. That's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I would probably just go 1-4 with 1-4-7 with 1-2-4-5-7 with 1-2-4-5-6 and 7. And that would be my ticket there for 360. I'll be honest, given that I'm kind of leaning more towards the 1, I would probably come back with another 10 cent. That would just be 1 with 4-7 with 2-4-5-7 with 2-4-5-6-7. I may even press that one up just to bring a little bit more into it, but I like to keep things simple here for these videos. So there you can see kind of a quick cap of this race. I'm not sure how I feel about playing it. We'll kind of see which scratches come out and if I think that enhances my value or shrinks it down. But these would be kind of my initial plays here in the 10th race at Parx on February 11th. Cash those tickets.